April, former Hockeyroo Anna Flanagan laced up her running shoes and completed her first half marathon at the Australian Running Festival in Canberra. "It was a big shock to the system," confessed the 26-year-old. She's planning to run her second event on one of Australia's most stunning courses, the Sydney Morning Herald Half Marathon presented by Qantas Assure, whose competitors will wind around the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge on Sunday, May 20th. Speaking to Coach, Flanagan revealed what half-marathon first-timers can expect from the event, and her advice for getting across the finish line. Sam Downing, Coach editor, congratulations on recently completing your first half marathon. Anna Flanagan, thank you. It's taken me this long to recover. It was pretty surreal experience. What kind of training did you do leading up to it? You would have already been quite fit, but adapted to the short, sharp, hockey field style fitness, not the long, endurance cardio fitness. Definitely. It was completely different from anything I've ever done. My longest run, before the half marathon, was about 12 to 14 kilometers. Leading into it, I had a really heavy hockey program, so I didn't deviate too much from that. I tried to squeeze in a few longer runs, but I was relying on that base fitness to get me through. When I hit the 14 kilometers mark in the half marathon, that's where I really felt it. You started to hit the wall? Yeah. I saw the 15 kilometers flag and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Having played elite sport for so long, you rely mentally on being able to finish. But in terms of distance, I knew that I just need more kilometers in my legs now that I'm competing in the Sydney Half Marathon. So I've been adding extra kilometers in and around the training I've already been doing, and so I've increased the fitness load and the leg running. It's interesting you mention mental endurance, because people who've completed events on this length, I've never attempted one, have told me half the battle is just pushing yourself to keep going when your body is screaming to stop. Definitely. And there are so many people around you as well that you don't want to stop. Having them around really helped. But people had told me that mentally you just have to keep going. But as I said, my legs just felt like they weren't going anywhere by the end. It was a mental game for the last bit of the race. People who run full marathons, I have no idea about the strength they need. Did you find the crowds intimidating? Often at these big events you're surrounded by people at the start line. I think that actually made me go out too hard. The first 10 kilometers, I think I did go too fast because of the competitor in me. If I'm going to do this, I'll do it well. But I really needed to pace myself well. At the start, when everyone takes off, you copy what everyone else is doing. and it's really important to go at your own pace. There were people overtaking me later in the race who set a better pace earlier. What else about the race didn't you anticipate as a first-time competitor? Just running for that amount of time. I'd run for an hour before, but in the half marathon, I was literally running for 2 hours. It was a bit of a shock to the system. My body, my hip flexors, was like, "What are you doing?" At one stage near the end I almost tried to walk, but I couldn't change my movements. Everything was just hurting. With 1 kilometer to go I thought, okay, I can do this, I'm nearly there. But I just didn't expect it at all. I thought I haven't trained that much, but I'm sure an extra 10 kilometers can't be that hard. But it really was. But afterwards you're in pain, but it's a sense of achievement. For the last 5 kilometers I was thinking I wasn't going to make it. I was in that state of mind for quite a long time. So when you do finish, you realize you're a lot stronger than you thought you were. I can understand why people do it over and over again, because you feel so good when you're done. Anna Flanagan at the Australian Running Festival in Canberra supplied, "There's always a bit of a conundrum at these events in that they start early. It can be quite chilly, but you don't want to wear anything too thick when you warm up for the race. What advice do you have on what to wear?" I was in Canberra, and it was 10 degrees. I ended up wearing a crop top and I was freezing. But you warm up so fast. So if it is really early, things like gloves do help because your hands get so cold. But otherwise it's just shorts and t-shirts. And I recommend as well even wearing shoes that are 1 size up or half a size up. Because if you're not used to competing, your feet expand when you run that distance. So if your shoes are a tiny bit bigger, you avoid things like blisters. What did you eat before the race, both in the days leading up to it and the morning immediately before? Because it started early, I had a protein shake beforehand. You need to get enough energy. They have little stops for water on the race, and things like gels can help on the run. But it's also a skill to try to keep running while drinking out of a cup of water. And you have to get your complex carbohydrates in. I probably overdid it with the carb loading, laughs. Smashing a huge bowl of pasta every night and justifying it for the race. Yeah. In the week leading up it was getting in a lot of pasta and a lot of bread. Post-race it was more protein. A lot of chicken and eggs so my body could recover quicker. Because my body was in a lot of pain. And it's worth pointing out to first-timers that the day of the event is not the right time to experiment with new foods. because you don't know what effect they might have. Definitely. Do what you usually do. If it's your first time, you might adjust things a little bit, but you're not going to go crazy and have heaps of McDonald's to give you heaps of energy. There's a right way to do it, as well as not doing anything too different. I had a protein shake because I wasn't sure how my stomach would go running that far. So I wanted to get enough energy but also not having anything too heavy when I was running. Related, what to eat if you're running in a marathon, half marathon or fun run. You joked early you're still recovering from your first half marathon. What are some recovery strategies you've learned for your second one? I highly recommend compression tights afterwards. I wore them to bed and felt my muscles recover.